Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Booba dooba dooba. Hello, Travis. Booba dooba dooba.
Hi, did you say tuba?
Booba dooba. Booba koopa. Booba dooba doo. Booba dooba dooba dooba. I don't know what's going on, but I've got the Mario stuff in my brain hole.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
I have no idea where it came from. I don't know anything right now.
You don't know where Mario came from? It came from Japan.
Well, bollocks.
Duh.
I thought he was Italian.
Well, just because you're Italian doesn't mean you're not from Japan.
I mean, isn't it though? I guess two things can be true at once, right?
Like me, my background is Irish probably, but I'm from America.
I am like to be, I could be Irish. What do I know? I like a pizza and olives, but, potatoes. It's all good.
I don't like any of those foods that you mentioned.
Oh, hello and welcome to this week's episode of Two Trolls and a Brew, 104, Dong on Display. I'm Samus, he's Travis. Hi, Travis.
Why is it Dong on display?
Because I have an interesting story from the PPTQ.
About your dong?
About my donger.
Hmm.
See how thirsty he is when I mention donger? He's like,
Oh, wait, hold on. See how thirsty I am? Water.
So, I put on my normal, like, arena shirt, and I put on my blue jeans that I've been wearing for a long time. And I went to the shop and started tidying up about an hour before the tournament's supposed to start, just making sure everything's clean. And when I bent over, I heard like I'm like, did I just rip my pants? I'm like checking everywhere. I'm like, no, I don't think I ripped my pants. So then I bend over a little bit later to pick something up, and I'm like, what this? And I check again, and I don't hear anything. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I like walk around, I do some more cleaning, and occasionally I hear a very soft ripping sound. And I'm like, I don't understand what is going on at all. So I walk around, I talk to people for about 10, 15 minutes or whatever. And then I start to notice a breeze in my groin region. But like I check the crotch where okay, I'm a fat man. I've ripped out jeans before. Okay, spoiler alert. That happens when you're a fatty. But I checked between the legs, where the normally rips are. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking around front. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I lift my shirt up and I look down just to make sure like my fly's up and everything. And what happened is I had ripped basically from the top of my pants where the button is down that thigh.
I mean, yeah.
Right? So I'm like, is this really noticeable? And I'm like looking at it, trying to figure out like, okay, and I'm wearing my boxer briefs, so I don't feel like exposed or anything. But I'm standing there asking Johnny if this is bad enough that I need to go home and change. And I look up, and Jackie is the only person looking in my direction. And it's like laser focused on my donger.
Right.
It's like memorizing every scope, like every detail. And I put my shirt back down, and I'm like, I'm going home to change now. So I go home and I leave. We come back. We have the Magic tournament. Congratulations to Chris on a good tournament. Congratulations. And then afterwards, we were talking about some stuff, and I'm like, man, this should be the most embarrassing thing today, how my pants were ripped open. And Jackie is like, that is correct. You should be embarrassed, even though there's nothing to be embarrassed about. And I did memorize every detail. And the mighty tuna can will rise again, and turn around and left. And I was like, yes, indeed. The mighty tuna can will rise again. It's not about how deep you go. It's about the damage you do going in.
Oh,
So, yep,
such a good story.
I've made a lasting impression on young Jackie's mind from now on. Woo! So there we go. Otherwise, I had a pretty good weekend. How was your weekend?
I worked.
So it was good. You got a paycheck.
Eh,
So it was bad. You had to work.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
You
would have
didn't
rather played Magic.
you didn't spontaneously become rich.
If I would have done that, then I probably would not be in this country right now because there's so many other things that I want to see.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Like
okay.
not anything negative towards this country. I just there's a lot more to this world than America.
Oh man, so many. There's women all around the world that could see my mighty tuna can
I wouldn't say around the world. I'd say across because
across.
this flat.
Yeah, I love how he's on this flat Earth thing. It's great.
Did did you see how I triggered someone at work because I said that the Earth was flat?
Sure, I let it go.
Oh man, it was so funny.
I
She
bet.
got so mad at me.
Oh boy. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have drafts. I assume you drafted. Yes. No.
Oh
Maybe.
yeah.
Um, I played a PPTQ. I
Did I
judged
send you that
PPTQ.
picture of my draft?
Maybe there goes Remy. Bum, 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 bum. No, you didn't send me a picture. You listed it. So yeah, I don't know.
I know I listed
I
like a few things, but
Yeah. So why don't
I'll
you?
send you the picture.
Okay, you send me the picture, but why don't we start with our troll cards? I have picked Dive Down, and you have picked Captain Lanery Storm.
Yes.
I feel like you've talked about this card before, but um,
I mean,
you
you know
like
how
a
I am
chunky
with.
girl.
Oh, she's not chunky.
She's not the chunky girl. That's fine.
No, that's the Admiral.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're talking about then.
Oh, okay. Well, so the captain here, she is a 3-drop. She costs 2 colorless and a red. She's a legendary pirate with haste, 2/2, and then she has whenever Captain Lannery Storm attacks, create a colorless treasure token with sack it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Also, when you sack a treasure, she gets +1/0 until end of turn.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and both the draft on last Monday and on Friday, I ended up with her in my draft pool, and I'm just like, let's do this.
Yeah, I after playing all of the pirate stuff and the treasures and stuff, making treasures for something like attacking something you want to be doing anyway, an aggressive red deck, is super good. Super,
Yeah.
super, super
Well,
good.
and like the thing is, I didn't even draft pirates. I just drafted her.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into the details of your draft, but that sounds really sweet, actually. Um, yeah, this card was not on my radar. There's a lot of cards from Ixalan that are still not on my radar. I guess there's a pirate that if when he enters the battlefield, if you already attacked, he gets like a +1/+1 counter. Is that right? He's like a two
Yeah, the
two.
rigging runner.
Yeah, I didn't even know
Yeah.
that was a card either. Like that card seems insane.
So just off of playing with against different pirates, I'm honestly thinking I'm making a mono red pirate deck, which is weird because I'm also going to do
The
the
blackish
the
based one.
no, I'm gonna do their Raminap
Oh, okay,
ruins with it also. So it's like all of these pirates on a desert.
that's right. Are we be looking for treasure in this deserted island?
Where's the water?
That's right. Alrighty,
Pirates
we've
say
been
water.
we've been having this camel pull our boat, our frigate, for many a moons.
Poor camel.
Uh, this week, my troll card is going to be Dive Down, and it's because it basically cost me my ability to make the top 8
Nice.
at this week's PPTQ that I attended. Yeah, um,
That good?
it just blew me out of the water. So the deck that I saw that I played against at the PPTQ that really impressed me was this Riddle formed deck, and I had like sideboarded in my Braska because I felt like it was a good card for that matchup. And my opponent played that 6/5 that you can like cheat into play for 2 mana if you have a bunch of instants and sorceries in your graveyard.
Okay.
And I drop my Braska and I go to kill it. And there's a Dive Down to like, gotcha, sucker. That was the last card in my opponent's hand. And I was at 6 life. So basically GG's, son. Dive Down
Right.
was a 1 mana counter spell against my 6 mana Planeswalker. So yeah, I'm really impressed actually, and I want to get into this this deck later because I think that it's something that I googled around and I could not find anything like it. And I think maybe you and I should see if we can't brew or fill out the majority of the cards together because I think there's a deck here. I think it's got a lot of play. A lot of play. Oh, so tell me about your draft. I know you had an exciting one, and you sent me the deck list, so I'll try to get that pulled up while you kind of share with us what's going on.
So when I was we were drafting on Monday, and my pack one, I had the choice between the 2-drop flashing vampire that when it enters, it gets +1/+1 for each creature that died this turn. So that was one of my cards, and then the other card was Sky Terror. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
know what? I've been wrecked by this card, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up instead. So I picked up Sky Terror, pack one, pick one. And then the person to my right, he passed me a second Sky Terror. And I was like, okay, I'm going red white aggro. I know that I'm doing that. And then after that, I was past the Otapek Huntmaster, which you know how big of a beating that leaves on people's faces.
Right.
So I did that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get all of the crappy dinosaurs that come my way, or I'm gonna get all the good ones. I don't know. And then I basically just proceeded to draft this sweet aggro deck that just destroyed people out of nowhere.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. I drafted like the big dino deck because I got the OPEC Huntmaster pick one, pack one.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an opponent across the table who was trying to draft little dinosaurs. It sounds like you did it significantly more successfully than either one of us did.
Yeah.
I mean, just kind of looking at this deck, you have 4 Thrasher Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
You have just 1 Shining Aerosaur.
Right.
But you have 2 of the Stormfleet Pyromasters, who I've strongly considered including in the troll card of the weeks, because it's so good. It really is
Dude,
very, very good.
those things were busted in my deck because I could get them out on turn. I think it was turn 4 because of Captain Lannery making extra tokens.
Right.
So it's like even if I missed land drops at the end of turn 4 after she attacked, I'm sitting there with 3 mana and 2 clues. I still play it and do that extra damage.
Yeah. So I guess before we get too far away from this core idea, how did you do?
I went 3-0, took first.
3-0. Congrats.
Yeah, I lost 1 game the entire night.
Would you play a standard deck around this?
Yes.
Yeah, looking at it, something that we talked about before is the sheer number of like 2 mana, 2x hasters.
Mm-hmm.
And this just shows how powerful that strategy can be. 2 Sky Terrors, 2 Nest Robbers, You throw in like I drive cars really fast guy, and you have, I mean, just a large number of hasters. You throw in the Captain Landry. You throw in, I think there's a good 3-mana haster, but I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
Well,
And
and even
you're basically there.
with this deck, you don't need all of them to be hasty because the Huntmaster gives them haste too.
Right. Well, I'm talking about like if you're going to build a deck following some of this kind of precedent in standard, you probably would want most of your things to have haste,
Oh yeah.
and that way you could haste them over, and you could like clear the way. I don't think we have a falter effect anymore, but we 100% have like steal your guy, cast a 2-drop.
Yeah.
Karazeb's expertise. So
Mm-hmm.
like suddenly now your 3-drop is I steal your guy and I cast another haster and I attack you for, plus I already have I played a 2-drop with haste already. That's particularly like a flyer. And then I
Right. And then
happen. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say even depending on your mana, um, you could on turn 2 play like a 3-drop
Right.
or two 2-drops on turn 2.
Right. Well,
So if you get the Kanjani's Collar on turn 1 with like Inspiring Vantage or something, and then turn 2 you play a Mountain, then you can play 2 Nest Raiders on turn 2
that's
and
true.
swing in
That's
for
true.
4.
I wasn't actually thinking about playing like a Johnny or whatever that caller is. I don't think you want a 03 in your I attack you for 2 haste deck.
Oh yeah, I do.
But
Because then I can drop them on. I can drop 4 power on turn 2.
it's true, I guess. I don't know. I think I just run more shocks and lightning strikes and magma sprays instead.
All creatures all the time.
All creatures all the time. But yeah, no, I like the concept. I'd like to fiddle with it at some point. Maybe I will. But yeah, congratulations. I did less good. I don't know exactly where I ended up in hindsight. But I kept a lot of really shaky hands, like a forest, 2 1-drops, 2 2-drops kind of hand. I drafted like the aggressive Merfolk deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say I'm really intrigued by the possibilities of this deck. Excuse me.
Hail Satan.
Thanks.
I mean, bless you.
Bless you too, baby. So yeah, I played like the 1/1 that becomes a 2/2 if you have an island or another Merfolk. I drafted like the enchantment that gives it +2/+2 and flying. I drafted numerous of the 2/1s that like explore when through the battlefield. And I think there's a deck there. Like we've kind of talked about it a little bit before, but I feel like there's probably a good aggro deck out there. In fact, I've got a deck laid upstairs that's mostly Merfolk, and then like the artifact, the Metallic Mimic, Walking Ballista, the source or the instant that gives 2 1/1 counters, and the Merfolk that makes things with 1 counters unblockable, and
Yes.
then the 2 and X Nissa, and it looks really good so far. I haven't actually got it sleeved up and tried it yet, but I feel like there's probably a deck there. Some number of Blossoming Defense probably needs to be included, but from what it looks like so far, it seems really, really strong. And it basically beat me at the PPTQ. At the PPTQ, I ended up going 2-3. If I was 3-2, I would have top 8'd pretty easily because like the way things were oddly shaped. And I ended up losing game 1 because I drew Hidden Stockpile and basically changed my plan on what I was going to do turn 1 or turn 2, where I was going to play my 1/4 Contraband Kingpin or something. Like I was
Yeah.
going to play him on turn 2, but instead I drew the Hidden Stockpile, and I needed a plains. So I played my island and my map on turn 1, and then untapped, cracked my plane, or tacked my map to get a plains, played my plains, and went to play my Hidden Stockpile, and realized I didn't have a black and a blue because I got in a hurry and didn't play my swamp instead of my island.
Okay.
And I also couldn't play my 1/4 because I didn't have a black and a blue. I had a black and a white. And basically put myself on 2 turns of doing nothing and just like, blah, 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 blah.
I guess I'm an idiot.
I guess I'm an idiot. And then I thought, well, that's fine. I'll definitely win the next game. And I was. Like, I stole my opponent's creatures 1/1 counters can't block. I killed all of his guys. And then I go to Doomfalling. And his hand is Disenchant. I think it's Appetite for the Unnatural. Disenchant, and the green Gearhulk.
Okay.
So I'm like, Doomfall your Gearhulk. He goes, okay, disenchant my guys with 1/1 counters cannot be blocked spell. I'm like, cool, here you go. I had 2 of the 1/4s and he had nothing left. Top decks. Oh, well, here's a Gearhulk. Attack you for 6. Or 7 or whatever it was. I'm like, okay, go to 13. I play the Puppet Master, make a bunch of tokens, scry 6 times, put a Fumigate on top of my deck. Right? I'm like,
Okay.
whatever. I'm gonna Wrath and kill you. It's fine. Or Wrath and take over the board. Like my hand was like Tezzeret, something else. Like I think I had a treasure map that was about to flip over. Like my hand was super good. Like I was just gonna win. He draws this card and goes, huh, I couldn't have drew this up if I tried. Gearhulk, attack you for 14. So I'm like, oh well, congratulations. Like that was pretty good. He's like, yeah, I didn't have any way else to win this game, I don't think. I'm like,
Right.
no, because I flipped over my top card and there's a Fumigate. And I was gonna gain like 13, I think, or something. I'm like, yeah, and I pretty much was going to win this game after that. So that was pretty much the perfect card. So in retrospect, I think there's a deck there, and it kicks my butt.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try it. But the deck that I really want to get into, if you're interested, is this blue-red Riddle Form deck. There was an old version that I kind of Googled around. It's like Skullscar Mage, Firebound Archer, Storm Chaser Mage, Crash Through, stuff like that. This deck is not that at all. This deck is like Brawl. Numerous cards that are like draw 2, discard 1, or put 2 in the graveyard for 2 mana. But of course, with Brawl, they're 1 mana.
Right.
Ops, Riddle Form, what's that big flyer? Enigma Drake.
Yeah.
And then whatever that 6/5 is. This thing just crushed me out of nowhere. This was a deck I was not expecting for.
So I know what you're talking about. This chick on Twitter that I follow plays it. She just posts up some like the most random screenshots, and it just, well, I guess I'll swing in for a 45 this turn. I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah, it ran Assault Injury is one of the cards, like Lightning Bolt, or not Lightning Bolt, Lightning Strike, which is basically Lightning Bolt with Brawl.
Right.
Like I was just super impressed by this deck. I'm not sure if all the 6/5s are in the main, or if they're like some number in the main and the rest are in the sideboard, or what exactly. But this guy just crushed me game 1. Just like, I think on turn 2 he played a Brawl. On turn 3 he went draw or look at 3, put 1 in my hand, put 2 in the graveyard. Draw 2, because I didn't attack, I'll put one in the graveyard. Or maybe he attacked with his Brawl, and I blocked and gained a life. And then he played it and drew 2 cards. And then he like did something else and ended up putting like 5 sorceries in his graveyard on turn 3.
Yeah.
And then turn 4, he like played an Enigma Drake and something else to put like 2 more in, and then he attacked with the Enigma Drake after he cast Assault to Injury and hit me for like 14 or 16 or something insane like that.
Okay.
And then was able to kill me with the injury part of the spell. He's like 2 damage to your lifelinker and 2 damage to you. I'm like, all right, good game. Scoop my cards back up, bring in all my removal spells, and I'm like shuffling up. And I win game 2 pretty easily off the back of 3 Yahini's Expertise and 2 Fumigates.
Right.
But then that game 3, man, I thought I had it stabilized with the Vraska on turn like 4. Like I did something and got a clue on turn 3, and I play like a turn 4, or maybe not. Maybe it was turn 5 that I played her. But like I had an active Tezzeret that was ticking up, was going to ult next turn. I had made a bunch of Ethereum cells. I was about to flip over my treasure map. Like I didn't have enough to kill the 6/5 with like a Tezzeret minus.
Right.
I had like scryed into the Vraska, and I'm like, this seems good. Like I'll play the Vraska, I'll kill a 6/5, I'll take 3 and go to 3, and then I'll do a bunch of scrying, I'll gain a couple of life, and I'll just win the game. And instead he went dive down. And I went, that's the GG's. So I don't know, I think that deck looked like a lot of fun. What do you think? Is this a deck that we should pursue?
Every time I've seen it played, it's just, I mean, I love Is It.
I do too.
The only 2-color combination that's better than that is Gruul.
That's a funny way of
Green.
saying Simic. That's really odd.
Oh yeah. Well, so
Like
you know what would make Simic really great though? If you played it monocolored with either of those.
Monocolored with either of those?
Yeah, I just don't like green and blue together.
Yeah, no, you're crazy. I'm one of those guys. When Ravnica came out, I bought like my hat, and I still have this hat. It's got the Is It symbol on it, and then Is It symbol, and then I bought the Simic T-shirt.
Yep.
So I was that guy who like wore those two together, and I'm like, please. And then Teamer came out, and I'm like, yes, but this is not what I want. It's close. It's the colors that I need, like Teamer through and through, baby.
Nah.
It's just, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, no, I guess it is Teamer for me also.
Yeah, it's Teamer for you too.
But I just don't like the Simic together.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. It's okay.
I like the shenanigans of Is It, and I like the just out of nowhere strength of Gruul. And then there's this shenanigan power. I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Let me just say Mystic Snake. My friend Mystic Snake. That's it. That's all you need. The OG Simic beat stick. I say no to your shitty spell, and I beat you to death with this tutu. I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna see about putting that deck together. Riley came over on Saturday while I was at the PPTQ, and he and Remington built the Teamer Grow list, and basically went home with a bunch of my cards, and like didn't tell me what he took or anything. So after the PPTQ, where the Teamer Beatdown deck was like the most popular deck, I was on the way back, and Hunter asked if I could put that deck together. And I'm like, sure, we could put the deck together, whatever. I get home and start looking for cards. And I'm just like, where did all this stuff go? Well, it turned out Riley took it all, basically. So I'm like, I need to get a deck list from what Riley took. And yeah, it was weird. Like, all this stuff was gone. I think he was planning on coming to the PPTQ on Sunday, but his mom wouldn't let him.
Why?
She probably had some other plans already made for them.
All right.
So yeah, it happens. Like, he's not real big into standard. So when all of a sudden he's like, I went to Samus's house with Remington and we built a standard deck and now I want to go to the PPTQ. She's like, well, I already made plans because you don't like standard. Okay. So teach their own, I guess. Teach their own. Other than that, it's been a pretty mild week. Sean Zedike did really, really well. We had a bunch of people do really well at the this weekend for the local shop. He had a really interesting take on what's the black, blue, green?
Sultai?
Sultai. He had a really interesting Sultai list, in my opinion, that I thought was very, very good. He put a couple pieces of technology in after he heard how dominating the teamer list was.
Mm-hmm.
And he added that 3/2 dragon, like when it enters the battlefield. Huh?
Dinosaur?
Yeah, that dinosaur. I said dragon again, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah, he put in that dinosaur, and I watched him play it, and it was so, like, he borrowed 2 from me to put them in his deck, and they were so good, I walked over to the vendor, like, immediately, and I went, hey, do you have that 3/2 dinosaur that, like, does the things? And he's like, that's the one card I can't keep in stock.
Yep.
He's like, they're only like $8, but they come in and they leave. They come in, they leave. I'm like, man, I need 2 more now. It was just completely disgusting what he ended up doing with that card.
Dude, that card is so busted.
In theory, the card isn't as good as it actually is. I think the card is like a 10. Like, it's really, if it's not a 10, it's super close to a 10. Because instinctively you compare it to like Scavenging Ooze or Kitchen Finks, and it's neither one of those cards. It's like this weird hybrid between the two that actually I think is better.
Yeah. Because you don't have to pay for it.
Right, you don't have to pay for it, and you want to be attacking. So yeah, I was super impressed. Super, 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 super impressed. Let's see. Are you still in Grixis right now?
Dude, I'm all over the place.
Well, what would you take to a tournament if you were playing tomorrow?
Oh,
yeah, 24 hours to have a deck for a top level tournament. What do you take?
Sphinxes.
Really, Sphinxes, like the 5/3?
All of them.
Really, all of them?
Yes. So, right now I'm working on a pretty saucy Anesh deck, the one that makes the Sphinxes cost 2 or less when you cast them.
Okay.
So it's that, just a bunch of draw spells, and like it's basically a control game, and then I get a bunch of Sphinxes.
So like I successfully figured out how to spell Sphinx. So you have Unesh, Sphinx of the Magist. I don't know how you Magosi. Magosi? Like, how is that a word? That's not even in English.
How is Unesh a word?
Well, it's a name. Names don't have to be words.
Oh, Cryosphinx.
I mean, that just means he's frozen in ice. He's gonna come out and know how to knit and how to like not use 3 seashells and all sorts of things.
What if he's down by the seashore?
I think he's just hosed. If you can't use the 3 seashells. But no, this Glyph Keeper was in my maybe sideboard,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently it just destroyed people all weekend.
Well, yeah. Okay, so like, do you remember?
Probably
Um,
not.
it was like it was a mythic from I think it was the first cons block, and it was like a 6/7 that you could bounce three
Yeah,
lands to your hand and like give it hexproof or something.
yeah, but it also had flash.
Right, right,
It was
right.
like something of the sacred well or something. S.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, it was
yeah.
great. It was great. It was the perfect finisher for blue.
Right. I think that this is on that level.
The
Not quite that
Sphinx, the
level,
gift keeper,
but
the keeper.
yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
close.
You have to 2-for-1 yourself to get rid of it, and then it can come back later.
Right.
Like it can come back 2 turns later,
Yeah. No,
unless you're playing it late game, in which
it's
case,
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like I said, it was in my maybe board. I was going through stuff, and I'm just like, this seems nuts. This seems absolutely bonkers. Um, and I played against it in draft, and it sucks.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm on board with this. I'm also on board with this Sphinx of the Magosi, though, too. Actually,
So what's that one do again?
it is a 3 blue and 3 for a 6/6 Sphinx. Of course, it flies. But for 3 mana, draw a card, then put a 1/1 counter on it.
What's that from?
It's from the M17 or whatever, like the Learn to Play Magic set.
Oh, so it's from like an old set.
Yeah, it looks like it was originally in Rise of the Eldrazi as a rare.
Gotcha.
So
That's
yeah,
why I don't remember it.
yeah, but I've been doing the Learn to Play Magic, Welcome Magic, open house things for the
Uh-huh.
last couple of years now, and this is like the crown stone of the blue deck. And
Right.
if you can resolve it and they can't instantly kill it, you just win the game. Like it's just the single most powerful card in those 5 decks.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it can't die to like whatever the 5 mana removal spell is, but if you get an untap, you can make it into an 8/8 and draw 2 cards. Like that's just game ending. So if you can ever slap
Right.
this thing down and protect it, it's just the greatest thing that ever was. So yeah, I can
Okay.
see this as being a thing, especially if you can make it cost 2 mana less, or you can
Yeah.
like make some treasure and sneak them out early. Like all those things sound great.
Well, and like, so with the deck that I'm like working with, like the early game, like turns one, turn one, I have like 6/1 drop flyers, and then because it's like pirates turn into sphinxes,
Okay,
but it's all
sure.
flight. Everything flies. It's just mono
Okay,
blue, favorable, big things.
are you playing
Uh,
favorable wins?
oh yeah.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, it's like so I have the 4 storm colors and 2 hope of Garipers. Uh, turn 2, I can drop Stormfleet Aerialist, Pillar of Origins, Favorable Winds, Chart a Course, just the normal blue stuff. Then like turn 3, I have Nimble Obstructionist and Kefnet
okay, I'm down.
because with Unesh, Kefnet's going to be swinging later on,
Right.
and then with Chart a Course, I'm gonna be attacking on turn 2, hopefully. Then putting some more in the grip. So hopefully, turn 4 I can attack for 5 plus some, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then currently turn 4 I have the playset of Curator of Mysteries. That's when we cycle or discard, you scry one, and also it has cycling. So I have 4 of those and 4 Dreamcaller Sirens, and
Okay.
that's the yeah. You remember what that one is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the
Okay,
that's the sought after uncommon now of this
it's a
set.
rare.
Oh, the tap two guys then.
Yeah.
Okay. No, the 1/1 flyer that like counters a thing that targets one of your guys is suddenly
Yep.
like the chase uncommon everywhere.
Yep. It's a good thing I have 10 of them.
Woo!
Every time I'm in a draft and I see that, I'm like, no, no, you can't take this. Um, but no, then for the 5 drops, I have the Glyph Keepers. I have a playset of those, and then I have 2 Uneshes. Uh, then I have Rivers Rebuke.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't want you to have stuff. I'm thinking about doing the X gain control of stuff, the
Right.
entrancing melody.
Yeah, something like that. Like I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, I'm thinking about doing that too.
You know, I've warmed up to Kefnit's last word. Like I've decided I like it a lot too.
Oh, the stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Let's see. The other thing that did a ton of work at the pre-release that I think might be up your alley is the new clone. I'm trying to get a name here. There it is. Visor of Many Faces. Vizier of Many Faces.
Yeah.
People were not playing this in the teamer list before this weekend that I can tell. And somebody like innovated to include like 2 of them in the sideboard. I think
Okay.
in my teamer list, I'm going to just main deck them. They're completely bonkers.
Okay.
Um, so people are like, my most commonly asked question was people would come over and like, hey man, if I cast this targeting Glorybringer, it gets haste, right? I'm like, yes. Does that mean it can attack that turn? Yes, that's what haste means. Like, oh, okay. Like they couldn't grasp how haste worked,
Right.
like with the clone. Um, but yeah, no, it was absolutely insane every time I heard people play it. They brought in 2 Vizier of Many Faces and 2 of the 5/3 Sphinx, the Glyph
Hmm.
Keepers, and just crushed people. They just like went all big flyers.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like the Glyph Keeper is basically the Reality Smasher right now.
Well, no, the Glorybringer's Reality Smasher.
Well, no, because you can just kill the reality, or you can kill the Glorybringer for with one spell. Like the Reality Smasher requires 2 things to kill it, and the Glyph Creeper requires 2 things to kill it.
Sure, by that comparison, you're not wrong. But by the I'm going to play this 5-mana creature and attack you for 5. That's what made Reality Smashers. Like both of those things were important for Reality Smasher, but really it's I'm going to 5 you this turn
Yeah. Okay.
in my mind. But I
Right.
agree with you. As you point out, you mention your point is valid for sure. Totally valid. I don't know. I'm not sure what I would play. Um, all the decks that I prepared for, so like Teamer, the token deck, with the exception of Grixis tokens, which we'll talk about just for a brief minute. Um, the control decks, like every deck that I prepared for, my deck completely crushed.
Hmm.
Now, granted, like I said, I went 2 and 3, but I did a lot of playtesting with people in between rounds or after or whatever, and I was heavily favored. Like I said, the games I lost were to that blue-red Enigma Drake deck. I lost to that Merfolk deck, which was not a deck I was prepared for, and I think I would have won that match. Also, had I not got Little Kid lucked right out of the game with like back-to-back Gear Hulks. So
Yep.
stupid. And and then I lost to a Grixis improvised deck, which was not on my radar, like not at all. Is this a deck that should be on my radar?
Kind of.
Like the last time I saw this deck played, Eric Froelich like went to his worst finish in a pro tour since I started watching him play Magic.
Yeah. Well, see, and the thing with the Grimpavise deck is what people are calling it, like Grixpavise or something.
Sure.
Um, it can be shut down really easily. Like, if you let them have, I mean, if you have an answer to Tezzeret, then you just got Tezzeret sitting there. If you have an answer to the Herald, then it's just not doing anything. But
Right.
like, it requires so many pieces to get it going that if you shut down one, then it's like taking a cog out of a clock.
Well, this guy, it seemed like he was just like it seemed completely unbeatable at the time, because he was like turn 1 like a tap land, turn 2 play like the Spire of Industry, and one of the 2 artifacts that makes a 1/1 when it enters the battlefield.
Okay.
Right. And then he like sits there and attacks for 1 a whole bunch of turns in a row. At some point, he like plays that, like he main decked the Looking Glass. Like, look at my hand and like name an activated ability of a card and just like stop it forever.
Yep.
The poopy Pithing Needle. And he's main decking these.
It's actually pretty good.
Well, I'm sure it is, but it's a pretty terrible Pithing Needle.
So, in standard, yeah.
Yeah. But it seems fine in this standard environment, but if you compare it to Pithing Needle, it's terrible. But he just like played it, and suddenly when it was an untapped mana rock, it's way better. Right? So he's just like boom, 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 boom. And eventually he's just like, I play this 5/5 flyer, discard a card, and I'm just like, okay, well, my hand is Tezzeret, Yahini's Expertise, and Doomfall. Sorry, Tezzeret. And I'm like, what do you got untapped over there? He's like, I got 1 Spire of Industry. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, Yahini's Expertise? And he like taps it. He like taps some random token he has somewhere, and he taps his Hours Glass. And he's like, Mana Leak? And I'm like, well, good game.
Yep.
Because I had to resolve that Yahini's Expertise to kill all, like, again, he had like 2 or 3, like 3 Ornithopters, like a 2/2, and then like that 1/1. And that was his, like, and I'm like, if I could resolve that Yahini's Expertise, your board's wiped you out of cards. You'd have been left with that Mana Leak. But because you had that Mana Leak, I lost that game. So, I mean, the decks felt really good against me, but he was in the same bracket I was, playing against Teamer, getting crushed. I'm like, so what have you lost to today? He's like, well, I played the Teamer deck and lost. I played the like the Approach deck and lost. I beat a Tokens deck, and I think he said like another Tokens deck, and then me.
Okay.
And I'm just like, so your deck doesn't beat any of the real decks. Good to know. And I'm just looking at him like, I don't know what to do. This is not a deck that was anywhere near my radar, and I just feel like I was never in the game.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Other things that come out of this weekend. Hunter, our friend Hunter, played his Grixis control list that he's been working on for a while. Got crushed. Ended up having to play me somewhere in there, and I beat him because my deck beats the control decks.
Right.
And then he played game day 2, where we switched some stuff to put cut to ribbons in the main, and his deck was looking really good, and then he just like got on a horrendous losing streak, which was pretty sad. So now he's like, I don't want to play this deck anymore. I'm looking for a new deck, and I'm like in the same boat. You know, we have a standard showdown this weekend, and I don't want to play my deck, and I don't want to play. I don't know what I want to play.
Now, how would you feel about just a straight up blue-black control list?
I think that it seems really bad, because I think you want pressure. Like, this is a format more than any other format that you want some sort of pressure early, and that's where
No.
like hidden expertise or hidden stockpile does so well. Or you need like a great catch-up card, like Wrath plus Gain of Life. Like, it just feels like if you're gonna play the blue-black, you have to play Esper. To me,
I mean, I was playing with it, and I went 2-1 at an event, but the only match that I lost was because I flooded.
right?
I just needed to remove the Glorybringer, and if I would have removed the Glorybringer, I would have actually won the game, even through the flood.
So what I need is I need a replacement Crush of Tentacles.
My friend, have you seen River's Rebuke?
That doesn't put my stuff back in my hand.
It does if you target yourself.
I thought it said opponent.
Target player.
Okay, well then it doesn't get rid of their stuff if it targets me.
It does if you flipped a Primal Amulet.
There you go. Yeah, so this is the problem. The problem is I want to play the teamer control list like I played last standard, where I could set up the infinite combo, because the infinite combo is still there, except I don't have a crush, or I don't have a mass bounce that returns everything to their owner's hand. I need something along those lines. I could do a Brawl's Expertise and flip for days, but that doesn't do me any good, really.
Right.
So I need a card, and I don't have it. So, yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm really inclined to take kind of what you're talking about with this Sphinx deck, except play like just straight up Is It, and just go like big flyers and Glyph Warder, Vizier Many Faces, and just like burn spells.
Well, and also with Is It, you get the Locust God.
That's true.
And the Locust God feeds favorable wins, so you draw a card and you make a 2/2 with haste.
Right? But my question is it any good?
Is it?
I don't know. I'll have to come up with something. Hopefully we'll do some innovation for next week. Like I said, I have a couple of decks laid out and a couple in mind. Things that, real fast, just as one other deck to kind of consider on the format. All the decks in the top 8 were decks that I kind of expected, except for somebody had a blue-white, I think it was just blue-white Panharmonicon deck.
I'm in.
Yeah, it looked real fun, actually. And surprisingly, it did, like I said, top 8'd. It lost, I think, in the top 8. And it was black, or it was tokens. Like it played the enchantment. It played the 2/2. Like, it had all these cards in it that like did weird stuff, like make a bunch of tokens and do things with like Enter the Battlefield triggers.
Yeah.
I just like, this seems cool. It ran the enchantment that made extra tokens. It played. I'm trying to think what else it played. It played the angel that like comes into play and makes a couple of tokens and then makes it everything at +1/+1. Like, it seemed like a lot of fun, but it still got beat by. What did it get beat by? Teamer, I think. So I don't know. Looked like a lot of fun. The other thing I'm kind of interested in is just playing like a mono black or pretty close to mono black Panharmonicon list. 4 Gaunties seems insane right now.
Gonti has been insane since they printed him.
I know. And I've played a bunch of Gaunties before, but I've not played just straight up all the Gaunties.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems real strong right now. Anything else before we go to the show closing, my friend?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, I am Samus, and you can check out this podcast and many others, past episodes, et cetera, at samusgarobo.com. Of course, you can also find us at iTunes, MTG Cast, Podcast Garden, et cetera, et cetera. If you Google around for Two Trolls and a Brew, we'll come up. Speaking of Two Trolls and a Brew, you can send us an email, the number 2trollsbrew@gmail.com. We don't have an email right now. A lot of people have been Facebooking us decks and questions and stuff like that. And Travis has a couple that he's going to respond to. So if you're expecting to hear from us, yell at Travis.
Sorry, Travis.
Also, you can check out me at twitch.tv/SamusGarobo. I started a new game last week that I think would be right up Travis's alley to watch. It's called Dream Daddy, a daddy dating simulator, where you role play a single dad out on the prowl for other single dads, and it's awkward. But I have a rule: if someone donates a game to the stream, I have to play it. So let's see. Also, twitter.com/SamusGrobo or TurtlePower319 for Travis. So what do you find most attractive in a single dad, Travis?
When they don't have to pay child support.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Well, you know what they say. I'm a bad person. Troll on, everybody.
Troll on, everybody. Have a good week.